Hey gang, aloha! How are you guys doing? Woo! For me, I just finished my morning session and today was really a knockout punch. Boom, 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 so like all of us, we have to always keep in tune and have open discussion, meditation, free talking about life. And this morning, it's so funny because I always say, aloha kakayaka means good morning to you. And early this morning, I called my sensei and we both laughed because we both said the same thing. And my sensei is in the other side of the world. And so we had a very nice talk, and it was funny because I said I have two questions. Because before it would be them coming and saying da 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 da, but before we started, I said I have two questions to you. And since you know so much people, and we just kind of laughed about there's so much Karens, there's so much Chris, there's so much whatever. So I said, how much Monica's do you know in your life besides me? And so that was my first question. And my second question is, what I truly miss is listening to you, Sensei. To listening to where not only my Sensei, but to people, to life. Because I miss that vibrations, that sound. Yesterday I found this fountain to put in my house because I could hear the vibration. Not because, feng shui and all of that, is because it's vibration, it's life, it's energy. And, the other day, me and my sensei talked for I think over an hour and a half. It made me cry and made me do a whole bunch of emotional workout. It is. And that's why it's good to have somebody like that. And I am so fortunate and so grateful to have very good surroundings of people who's not only enable me to learn and receive their knowledge, but also bounce back, to their vibration, their knowledge, their thoughts. So, and it was funny because, as you all know, how I started my moon ceremony out of the blue moon, as per se, and it's been quite successful. And it's, okage-sama day, thanks to everyone. And, because I feel that is really how I kind of spend my time, because I'm so busy and I try not to use my time and procrastinate, because today is your day. Be grateful you're alive. You can see the sun or the rain or the shine or the sound, the vibration of life. And for me, I really took it for granted. And that's why I was taken to Los Angeles, the city of angels. And I learned so much out there because there's all different kinds of angels. And I think that's why they call it the City of Angels, because I really got to know people. Because here in Hawaii, we're so blessed. Because why? We literally work from the ground up. And we still have that value, the self-worth for our aina, I mean, to this day, we still, let Mother Nature sell us on the hokulea, to this day. And they further study about life. They were, I would say, they were the first ones who really brought astrology, looking at the stars to guide them to this place where I call my motherland, Hawaii, home. And so you can really feel this in-depth feeling of what we were brought up called the aloha spirit. And so, there is, like I said, there is people who really feel differently, and some of them, and this is the most beautiful card that I got. Look at this. She painted this, she came for my new moon, the new pink moon, workshop, and she wanted to express her gratitude, and she painted this and she made it into a beautiful card, and when I opened it, it was like, oh, so full of energy. And I can see so much, so much, just like that painting that I got in Vietnam, and it was so touching. And that, and that has history. And when people do things like this, it's like, wow, it's like a treasure. And I remember back in the days where we had this place where we used to call it, this group that I belonged to, and they were very creative artists from Japan, and, Lincoln Think and Associates Inc., and we called ourselves. And, these people were very talented artists. And so, I look back and, I can't wait to see them once. That was a good time, very good time. But going back to what's going to happen, like she kind of threw me off because she said it's the new moon when it was the full moon. And so certain things that you see when people write, you get kind of distorted. Just like what just happened. I'm reading this and I'm thinking, in my head, it was a full moon because I'm getting ready for the new moon. And so I think, like for this example, I see so much energy just through this painting and just through this writing. It's like I was telling, because I'm all of a sudden, through all of this, my workshop, once again, it's already before I planted the seed is already start to, go up. And it's really because I start from acknowledgement, and, I always say, for example, what that was written and what I went through this morning with my session, I call it my mindfulness morning meditation, to really mirror. And I'm very fortunate that I could call all time of the hours to say, moshi moshi, good morning, and my mirror is awakened because they acknowledge where, there is a time difference, because that's something we can't stop. Same as that morning energy. And so, there is so many things on this segment that I'm gonna really break down to, because I realize, my videos, I talk about maybe 10 to 20 different subjects at one time, because that's how my brain goes. And it was so funny because I will go and go and go and go and go when I think about something, because I just get really energized. And this one person was saying, you know, you send me so many things at one time, my brain is overwhelmed, and so can you wait for my answer, because I need to soak everything in. And so I would never forget this thing that my mom would always tell me: don't think that everybody will get you, because sometimes I'll go so fast, and sometimes I'll go and get, you know, I'm not upset, but I'm very boisterous per se. You know, at the end of the day, it's because, you know, I show my emotion on my sleeve. You know, if I like cry, I go cry. I told them one time I was like bawling over there crying because the energy was just so beautiful. And I said, well, too bad, because I'm just gonna go, you know. And it's kind of funny because that's how I am, and that's how I teach, because it's, you know, it's raw, it's real, and I live on what it is. Everyone's time. Everyone has time. And so that's why emotions are so good when it's running high. And usually that happens when you have a good sleep. And so all of this is really good. And that's another thing, because it felt so good and how I feel about doing this morning meditation mirror. And that's another thing I want to share, but that's another whole different segment to get there. And so, you know, it's, for me, is there's so many things that is magical out there in this world. But there is no magical cure for negative. Because either you're going to put out that negative, because you always need, right, in a battery, negative and positive to make it light up. It's how we surge it and merge it together to bring that light in you, to stay focused, to stay balanced, and to light up. And so sometimes when I do reading, I can't help it if it's not always positive. And so is it my fault? You know, and people will come and attack and, you know, get very upset at me, or I don't want to talk to you, or F you, or she doesn't know what she's talking about. And then after a while, it gets to them. And so that's why I kind of stay back in what I do. And so that was one of the biggest questions, because I'm not into reading tarot cards or reading this or reading that. I'm like reading your energy, your x-ray, who you are at that time, because it's different. And so people have different gifts and people have different ways of doing it. And I am how I am. I will be straight up. I don't have time, because tomorrow is another way how you can turn the negative into a positive. And I can give you those tools to help you, but I cannot magically cure you, because you're the one who has that balance. You're the one who has that center alignment to light yourself up. Sometimes you need to dim that light and stay back. And that's what I did. You know, because sometimes when you have too much light on you and you're like on top of the world, you know, and you don't know how to control. That's why we have these control of dimness of lights, is because we need to use that. Because sometimes when you use too much Jupiter force and charge up, you know, what happens? All the bugs, the mushi comes and get attracted to that, right? But if you dim down the light, you won't have that much of a problem. Like, for example, you're tired, you're going in bed, and you turn on that phone. All of a sudden, what happens? That mosquito comes, boom, because they got attracted to that light. And you're like, oh God. And that's when you need to start to balance yourself. The equilibrium of yourself is being in balance and saying, because nature is coming and say, you're attracting that light. Because what you're doing, is it positive, is it negative? But your body is telling you, I'm in bed, I should be going to sleep. And so, you know, that's when I say you need to put your surroundings to a comfort level. Because now we've already have created this bad habit of taking our phone, our smartphones, our gadgets, our whatever, you know, listening to things that are not the silence, the real nature. And that's when, once again, my segment on organic, like the birds, or inorganic, like this fountain. But they're both good because it's doing its purpose, you see? And so how can you bring this? Because this is the world we live in, right? Yesterday I saw this lady, brand new Tesla, you know, and it was quite funny watching her. And a beautiful car. But then I just had to step back and enjoy the moment, because you know, she's an elderly lady, and it's funny because she's so confused with the technology on how to look at that. Well, she has her bad habit of looking in the back where she can just look at that screen. And so you see that, you know, habits of how we drive, how we look things. And so all of that is going to start to change. And when I'm saying change, the frequency is changing. And when I say that is because last year we literally graded up and we all started to understand this thing called 5G. And so now a lot of our electrical, and that's why we're having so much problems, you know. You look at your water readers, your meters. I mean, there's no way. I was just talking to my mom because I'm very anal, because I make a spreadsheet of my water bill, all of my maintenance bill, my electrical, and all my telephone, all my costs, because I have to make that. And my mom said, how come you by yourself and me by myself, and we live almost, you know, parallel to each other? What is the change of the pricing, you know? And you know, you minus the cost of what she has and what I don't have and so forth, but it's still ridiculous. And so this is what I'm saying, is that a lot of these meters are not reading correctly. And so, you know, I can go on about that, that's another segment, but really we have to double check our electrical, because that's what I've been doing. Because all of a sudden remember my backlight that I couldn't figure out? Guess what? Now it turns on by itself. The other day, boom, it's like, oh, okay, because there was a switch back here that for some reason got turned off. So that's the thing, is that we need to double check, you know, electrical, because a lot of these homes here in Hawaii started its boom, you know, like here where I live in Kaiser days, back in the 60s, 70s, you know, the way it's built. And so a lot of it may not be balancing with today's circuit, today's, so, you know, fires. And that's why I'm saying, look at your homeowner's policy. Make sure you double check your electrical. because these things are so important, because those are part of our external life that we need to see the changes, because it's not like we choose for it to change, it's changing it. And so lots to do this month, and this is, you know, I'm sorry, but I was reading this, and you know, like I said, you can't judge a person by its cover and how they write things, because this person is going through so many different things than me and you. But at the end of the day, look how beautiful it is. And so it's like what we see, this really see, you know, sometimes we get words, or sometimes we get a lot of things, is because our emotions are very much making us imbalanced. And so this is where we needed to really, when we start, because it's going to be the new moon coming up May 11th, next week, Tuesday. So you start from acknowledgement, the good and the bad. And nobody is perfect. If you think you're perfect, then you have a problem, because nobody is perfect. So when you plant the seed, whether it's physical seed outside or planting your seeds inside, and you're doing both, these are your seed of intention. So you need to do it and make sure you have the right intention. Meaning that you have the right intention, that you're going to support it, right? You're going to be maintaining this seed, or this project, or this intention, or this way of new life, or this new journey, or this new goal, or this new job, etc. Right? You need to support it, because it's just not going to be all of a sudden I plan them, I got to walk away, and then it's like 5 days later, like, oh shoot, I forgot to water it. I forgot to take it out of the sun. So you need to support it. You need to watch it, like, oh, this is getting too much sun. Is this partial sun? Or needs full sun? Or, you know, so that's what I'm saying, is that you need to support on what you're doing, because if you have too much on your plate and you can't support it, and then throw your great seed of intention away, then what is your support to next version of growing it? For example, and this is where I'm using it as a great example. Right now, my website is building. My IT person is going through some very difficult time in her country because of this corona out in India. And so I've already planted my seed of intention for her to finish up this website. We both have this right intention, and I support her with so many contents, and I've been busy being very, you know, due diligent about recording videos and putting it on YouTube and doing this, and you know, I have the right supporting feeling of maintaining this, you know, giving it water every day, making videos every day, making contents every day. And so all of a sudden, like today, starting today, and I can hear it in the background talking to some of my, you know, calls, that I can hear in the background, woo, woo, because it's a shutdown. You know, like right now I hear helicopters floating, you know, and so these are different noises that we need to start to recognize since last year, you know. And so that's what I'm saying, is that there is outer and inner things that we need to be focused on and take acknowledgement and see how it's going to grow in this new lifestyle that we're battling, because we have so many changes of what we've been talking about organically and inorganically, and they're both good. And so we need to see how we're going to do this. Because, for example, when you build and put in your flower plants inside your house or wherever outside, and it's automatically timed, you know, instead of going the old-fashioned way of watering with a garden hose, seeing how it is, talking to your plants and looking at your flower when it's time to cut, using the seed to regrow it again and repurpose it. And that's what, there is different ways in how we're going to use our sensory. And so, you know, that is just what I'm just stating facts of my life. And we're going through many different life cycles, you know, many different challenges, because these are the challenging times that we're going to be moving towards. And so, you know, set this new intention very due diligently, I'm saying, is because it's funny, because I just talked to another client and we're going back to the memory mirror when all of this thing started. And I said, I told you 1999 to 2000. 2000 was out, but then by 2002 you figured out what you need to know to go forward. How did you know? Because that's how, for some reason, it's done. I don't know, like ABC, 26 letters. How come? I don't know. You know, I was looking at this post, and I'm going to post it too, and it makes a lot of sense. Why are things done a certain way? Why, for example, Bikram Yoga have 26 posture, move, 2 breathing exercises, you know? And why it works for all human, whether you are a man or a woman, and it was proven with studies. You know, I did research. When I'm into something, I do a lots of research, what I'm getting myself, my tempo into. Just like jiu-jitsu, I study about the Gracie diet, and it makes sense. And so, you know, things that I do, I start from acknowledgement. I'm gonna start this thing to stay focused, to change, because right now I'm at this age where, and we're all at an age where we can't turn time. We turn it every 7 years. In that 20 years. And so, you know, those kind of things is what I do for my workshop. And I'm just so, once again, grateful that my workshop was once upon, like last year, I started, you know, I was busy doing my house, and I started with somebody and some other people, and now, you know, it's coming in again, the next wave, which is great, which is so, so great and so blessed. But at the same time, I do need to put a limit to how many people I work with. And you know, the thing is that we can't help cure everybody. And if you think I have the magic wand and say, you know, look at the tarot card, or look at your energy, or look at this and say, you're cured, that's never going to happen, because that's not my intention. My intention is just being a guide to help you recognize and use tools to help you recognize, to be you, and to be happy, and to be fulfilled. What? The 3 things I always say is, what is your value? What is your worth? And what is your love, your purpose, your ikigai, to to life. And so with that, I say I'm talking too much again, and I'm gonna break down my segments so I can stay focused. And don't forget that life is not just about the cover. It's both the cover and inside. That you understand the person. Because being quick in judging someone, you miss out the authentic them. So anyways, I'm gonna have my cup of tea. I got a lot of work to do. Whew. Thank God. I am so grateful, so blessed. And don't forget to be kind and stay positive. Aloha.